Just kind of unfortunate, like the only new content we got basically is on Fortune's Keep, and then you can only play it solos. So
True.
that's really unfortunate.
Very true.
I want to see the Bunker Buster more. I wish it was just on big map. I'm not sure if we'll ever see that. That's unfortunate they add that in and it's only on one map. And the new gun looks pretty good, yeah, so I'm excited to use that. But I mean, aside from that, it's basically just a quality of life update.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 407. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by Tanner in a sweater, huh? Is it cold over there?
It's like 50s.
Interesting. It's warming up here. It's going to get real hot real soon, yeah. But that is not what we're talking about today. Today, we have an episode chocked full of information because we're talking about, of course, Season 2 Reloaded, which was a patch that came out yesterday. There is quite a bit, I would say, in this patch. Probably a little more than I was expecting, although we'll get into it. I've seen the highlights of the patch notes, but I haven't read them all yet, which we're going to do together today. Obviously not literally reading out loud every single thing, but most of all the important stuff we're going to hit, of course. A lot of quality of life changes, which are good. And some other kind of weird changes, and a new weapon as well. So, a lot to get into today. And before we start, a couple announcements quickly. First and foremost, welcome to our new gold patrons. Always Dies TV, K.
Okay.
And General Disdain. Wow. Some wild names, boys. Welcome to the Patreon. Patreon.com/thedropshot. And thank you, Kings, our new gold patrons. Change both of them. Very much appreciate it. We got another upgrader as well. Joe B was a gold patron like you people. And he said, I like this so much that I want even more bonus content. So he upgraded from gold to platinum. Let's absolutely go. Joe, thank you very much, King, for upgrading, and welcome. And all of you, make sure you join the Discord and link your Discord and Patreon accounts. You'll get access to new channels, which are fun and exciting. Now, on the topic of the Patreon, we have not done a single bonus episode yet, but that's because it's early in the month. And we were waiting for, of course, this patch. So we have a good amount that we will be doing for the Patreon, for the bonus episodes. We do 5 a month for our patrons, of course. And we'll be talking a lot about this patch, what's changed, and, how you should do things. Resurgence, Warzone, we will see, but those will probably start rolling out next week. And in the meantime, all of our patrons can enjoy ad-free and early access episodes till then. Or the back catalog, which is extensive. It's an extensive back catalog of bonus episodes. 200 or so. So, anyway, thank you guys.
A lot of them.
Very much appreciate it. And we got some good stuff that we will be cooking in the kitchen of the Patreon for the month. And I'll edit that out. Other than that, I don't really think we have any other announcements.
No.
Is that correct?
No. Correct.
Correct. Okay. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this sucker because we got a lot to talk about. So if you're listening for the jingle, boom, there it is. Earlier than you probably thought it would be.
You think you got someone with that?
No. I think you could smell it coming.
Yeah. Little sniff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sniff me.
Don't say that. All right.
Okay.
Today, Season 2 Reloaded. So, we have the patch notes. Tanner has played today. We were going to play yesterday on launch day, but everything fell apart. The crew fell apart. I don't know what happened. Someone's parents are dying or something. So it's like the Tanner's grandma incident all over again. Which I don't love.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. And next
yeah,
time,
it all kind of fell apart, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Next time Cope goes to drive his parents to whatever, the hospital or something, maybe he should just hit a couple extra red lights. Do a little Tony Soprano. You know? You don't know because you haven't seen it, but
I don't know, yeah.
Where they get in a car accident and then Moltisanti gets in a car accident and then he suffocates him. Yeah. You should watch that episode, Cope, for inspiration. Because I don't like the crew falling apart on launch day. So anyways, we did not play yesterday like we thought we were going to. I didn't play today either, but Tanner did. However, on Saturday, we will be doing our first impressions of the season. Because a lot has changed. The meta's been shaken up finally. And we'll know more about that by Saturday as well. Because there were, what I should say is there were a lot of weapon balance changes as well as a new gun. So yeah, we'll talk all about our first impressions on Saturday. So be here for that. But in the meantime, let's get into the details. And Tanner will probably have some first impressions, some brief ones today. So
yeah, I may do a bit of yapping on a few things. Yeah.
So first, as always, they've split this into two different blog posts. One is multiplayer, one is Warzone. So we're going to start with the multiplayer one. And there's a lot of crossover with these, as always. But anyway, here we go. Wednesday, March 6th. Welcome to Season 2 Reloaded. Lots of words, big words. We got the Season 2 roadmap, which we've already seen before. And then they do a couple little highlights here. We're going to skip these for now because they're going to get into more details on all of it as we go through. So, global gameplay. Upon ADS, the crosshair will now transition directly to the center of the player's screen rather than easing into position. I thought they had already done this, but here's what they say is a little blurb. This change continues our improvements to the precision and responsiveness of aiming in MW3 and Warzone. Please continue to share your feedback. Okay, so I don't know how it worked before, because when Season 2 came out, they removed like the idle sway kind of thing happening. And like basically they made it such that your reticle was always in the center of your screen. And it's insane that it wasn't working that way, but in Season 2 they made it that way. And then they made other changes to that effect. I thought this was one of them, but I guess not. I don't know.
Well, I think pretty sure the last update they made, when you ADS'd, it made it so your gun didn't have idle sway for a period of time after fully ADS'd. I don't think anything was changed prior to that. So if you're standing there and your gun is technically swaying a little bit, maybe now as you ADS, as you like start ADSing, there is zero sway or something. I don't know. Because isn't there a small amount of sway either way, even if you're not Well, I don't know, actually.
I don't either, because
there's not hip fire sway, so I don't know.
The crosshair will now transition directly to the center of the player's screen rather than easing into position. But, oh, maybe it means like the 4 little notches will just instantly collapse rather than gradually, which you would notice mostly with like a sniper. I don't know. This isn't
whatever
that big
it is.
of a
I didn't
deal,
notice
I don't think.
it, so I don't
yeah.
know. Yeah.
So whatever. Moving on. Some customization things. Not going to read that. Multiplayer new features. Added the ability to filter attachments by subcategories in the gunsmith. So for optics, you could do hybrid, 4x, thermal, 2.5, red dot, reflex, and hollow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But by now we've kind of all favorited our attachments that we use, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Favoriting doesn't work, but yes, if it worked
too.
every single time, then yeah, that'd be great. Then we wouldn't need this. Please fix the favoriting.
Yeah, just let me favorite things and have it work.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird because on some attachments it works and on some it doesn't for no reason.
It's on some attachments on some guns, and other guns, some attachments, it just won't do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cringe.
Add that to the list of bugs that could easily be fixed, but they're like not aware it exists or something, I guess. I don't know. That'd be a nice one to have fixed, though.
That would be great. Yeah. Anyway. This one's nice, though. Added the ability to track up to 5 challenges to view outside the challenge menu. These will appear on the in-game pause menu and the lobby. This is really nice. I do wonder if it applies to camo challenges.
I think it applies to anything.
Don't have Interstellar. I have Interstellar, by the way. But even like for weekly challenges, this is good.
Yeah.
Because I was like screenshotting all the weekly challenges and then putting it on a second monitor so that I could track them in game. Because if you don't do that, it's like you either have an eidetic memory or you finish a weekly challenge and then you're like, all right, I'm going to back out to go see what else I need to do.
Literally, yep.
It's really cringe. So now that shouldn't be an issue.
I used this today.
Yeah, so that's very nice. And I'll take it. So, and then a couple bug fixes. Let's see. Nothing crazy here. Several inaccuracies with weapon attachment descriptions have been resolved. That's interesting. I wonder what attachments were changed with that. In other words, I wonder if there are any attachments no one was really using because they displayed the wrong info, but now that it's correct, the attachment would be attractive. I wonder if that's the case. If it is, we'll probably find out by Saturday, but I doubt it.
Yeah, that would be something important if a gun has like firing aim stability, for example, since it doesn't show in the detailed stats. So if the description doesn't show that something helps with firing aim, people would maybe not even think to use it because it looks like the attachment does nothing in detailed stats. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe something like that exists, but I haven't heard of anything yet.
Yeah. So unlikely that'll be relevant, but maybe. Let's see. Couple challenges weren't tracking properly. They fixed that. Some map changes as well. Nothing to really go over there. Let's see. Okay, weapons and attachments. So some weapon buffs and nerfs here. Not going to read every single thing, but I'll try and kind of broadly give you whether it was buffed or nerfed on the whole. Another thing to keep in mind too, by the way, this is for multiplayer. So usually if they buff a gun in multiplayer, they also buff it in Warzone and vice versa, but not always. So keep that in mind. But we'll get to Warzone specifically anyway. But for multiplayer, BP50 was nerfed a lot. Yeah. They made it a little slower. They made it a little less accurate. And they gave it a little more recoil. So, okay. SVA was buffed a little bit. Okay.
Ability buff, yeah.
Yeah. Boss B was nerfed a good amount, which it actually might have needed in multiplayer. I haven't used it in a long time, but when I was camo grinding with that, boy, was it good. Really good. So it got like some damage nerfs. So whatever. I refuse to tell you about the Sidewinder. It's still not good unless they made it a 1200 RPM, which they didn't. So let's see. Conversion kit, don't care. RAM 9. Some of the attachments were buffed a little bit or changed. The AMR 9 Jack Etten double barrel kit. Bullets are now fired in a vertical column rather than a randomized spread. So that's a good thing. That might make that a little better. Worth using? Probably not, but okay. WSP 9 was, I mean, buffed a little bit for hipfire and tac stance.
Yeah, hipfire
but
buff.
Whatever. Some other conversion kit stuff. Don't care. Oh, the
MW2 P90. Yeah.
Improved alignment of the default iron sight optic.
That gun always felt awful in MW2, right?
Yeah, it was bugged.
You could tell
they
the
talked
irons,
about it,
yeah.
that the irons were like inaccurate.
Yeah. So thank you, Sledgehammer, for fixing Infinity Ward's gun iron sight. They had an entire year to fix, and they didn't. And no one even uses it now. No one would ever use that thing, and they still fix it in their game. God, Infinity Ward is just so bad, man.
They're the worst.
They're bad.
And not good also, yeah.
Oh my God, they're terrible. Yeah, okay.
The MW2 Lockman sub, the MP5 from MW2, was also buffed a little bit. More damage range. Weird choice, but okay. Couple shotgun, or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Polemyot, increased strength of ADS idle sway, L. That was like one of the biggest benefits of that gun, was that it did not have that much idle sway. Now it'll have more. Cool. Which is effectively more recoil, by the way, because idle sway continues while you're shooting the gun. So you'll have idle sway to control and also recoil to control at the same time. So an idle sway addition is also effectively just giving it more recoil. So cool. And then the conversion kit also has less bullet velocity now. The Bruin Mark 9 LMG from MW3, the new Bruin. I think it's actually the only one.
It was supposed to be an MW2 gun, yeah, but it's an MW3 gun instead.
Yeah. It was buffed a fair amount. ADS is faster, and then a lot of movement speed increases. Movement, crouch movement, tac sprint movement, ADS movement even. And most importantly, lower torso multiplier, 1.05 to 1.1. So it's also doing a little more damage to that tum-tum. That's pretty relevant. Now, it's only 5%, so I don't know what that means for multiplayer or Warzone, but there are definitely going to be instances where you are getting a kill in one fewer shots, one fewer bullet. That's the only reason they would increase the damage of that particular multiplier by that much. And this seems to be getting use a lot in Warzone now. But we'll talk about that when we get to Warzone. But yeah, this is one gun that was, I think these changes are virtually identical to what they did for it in Warzone. So anyway, snipers, they added an iron sight to the XRK Stalker. That's fun for multiplayer. And an ADS is a little faster now. The Cat AMR also ADS is a little faster now. And the SPX from MW2, ADS is slower now. Okay, got it. Let's see. Couple changes to some pistols. I'm not reading them. Let's see. Jack Limb Ripper. This is the underbarrel chainsaw. Increase movement speed while revving by 25%.
Jesus Christ.
I hate that they added this to the game. It's so dumb. Increase damage range. Oh no. from 1.1 to 1.4 meters. So they made the chainsaw longer, I guess, by 0.3 meters. Okay. It also does more damage now. 36 to 50. This is so stupid, dude. Players will no longer damage themselves in free-for-all modes. Oh no, why was it doing that?
Yeah,
and,
how was it doing that? What the heck?
I guess you'd start revving it and you'd just start damaging yourself. That's hilarious. They should have kept that feature in. Anyway, don't use a chainsaw in Call of Duty. Yeah, some other things here. Let's see. So in ranked play, you can't use the soul render.
Oh, you skipped a bunch of things.
Okay.
Okay, one, you know how the stuns were bugged and when you were getting stunned, you were like sprinting? That was a bug. So unfortunately, they fixed that. That was happening in Warzone too. So now you can't move again when you get stunned. So that's one thing. And then also in multiplayer, stims now automatically resupply after 25 seconds.
Oh,
so
that's
stims,
what this means?
no matter what perk you're running, you have resupply for stims. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that made them a lot better. People thought that was a bug at first, and then this morning they added that to the patch notes and tweeted about it.
Yeah, I read this and didn't know what it meant, and I figured it didn't matter that much. But
yeah, no, it's for everything. Or yeah,
that's super relevant.
No perk required. Yep.
Yeah, that's super relevant. Potentially, if you're playing like sixes respawn, it's probably not. But like ground war, if you're going for like long streaks and you're running stims, now you don't have to run restock, and you'll still get stims resupplied. If you guys played BO4, stims now work like BO4 basically. They just respawn no matter what, without a perk. That's pretty cool. I like that actually. Makes using anything else kind of silly. Although stuns and flashes are actually really good, so.
I was kind of going to say the opposite. I was going to say, even with a resupply, I don't think I'm ever using stims, but it's interesting that they did this.
Mm-hmm. I like them because, yeah, we've talked about this a lot. I like them because there's no quick fix in multiplayer.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway, I think that makes them more competitive, which is good. Cool. Okay. So, yeah. That's that. The new melee weapon can't be used in ranked. No surprise there. A couple multiplayer bug fixes, ranked play bug fixes. But if you're playing ranked play and multiplayer, you're cheating, so it doesn't matter. The next section starts with a Z, and I refuse to talk about it.
Yeah.
Go play
They
a
actually
better
added
game.
a lot, but we're not going to talk about it.
Don't care. Yeah, still a bad game mode. Don't play zombies. And then that's it.
Yeah.
That is all. So, yeah. I know I said at the outset of this episode that there was a lot to talk about with Season 2 Reloaded. And you might be thinking, that didn't sound like a lot. Well, it was pretty much all for Warzone. Obviously. Because there wasn't a lot, I guess, in multiplayer. I didn't really know, because everything I follow is like Warzone related. I like multiplayer, but if you've been listening for a while, you probably caught on. We mainly play Warzone almost exclusively. I don't really, neither of us really, enjoy playing multiplayer once we've gotten our, mastery camo. I really enjoy it up until then, but once I get it, it's just like, if I'm going to be playing and not like grinding for something or working for something, I'd rather do that in Warzone. And ranked play helps with that, but again, now we have ranked multiplayer and ranked Warzone, and we would rather play ranked Warzone. So that's kind of how that shapes up. So today's episode is brought to you by SBMMOFF. If you're tired of these sweaty COD lobbies, especially with Season 2 Reloaded having just launched, we have just the thing for you. Go to SBMMOFF.com and use code Dropshot for $5 off their lifetime VPN and geofence. No more monthly VPN fees, just one payment, and you have access to all future updates. For those of you wondering, no, a VPN is not against the Activision terms of service. However, this product only works on PC. Sorry, console gamers. Their VPN service is a legitimate way to change your region in order to connect to servers across the globe and find easier games. We know how sweaty those evening lobbies can be after a long day at work, so why not trick the game into thinking you live in a different part of the world where it's early morning? The VPN allows you to play on local servers with low ping, while the game thinks you're actually far away. When combined with the geofence, you're able to play on servers outside of your available local ones, meaning a player in North America, for example, can choose to play 100% on European servers or vice versa. It even comes with a built-in world map time zone sheet, so you can decide which server will be the best at that current time. As you can see on the screen here, you have many different region options. From Argentina, Italy, Kenya to Taiwan, the list is very extensive. These tools allow you to find easier and more varied lobbies instead of being crushed by Call of Duty's manipulative, skill-based matchmaking system. SBMMOFF is the only VPN and geofence service that is dedicated 100% to Call of Duty players like you. Go to SBMMOFF.com and use code DROPSHOT for $5 off. If the big streamers can VPN, so can you. With that said, let's move on.
Warzone.
To Warzone. Season 2 patch notes. Okay. So here we have more to talk about, I promise. First up.
Bit more.
New events. Wow. Dune, Rule of Fate. Take control of the Throne of Fate and earn XP to unlock exclusive rewards. Okay. So we're doing an event for like 2 franchises at the same time? I don't like that.
Well, I think that is 3 different events for the rest of the season.
Oh, okay.
Because I think we've had an event active every second of season 2.
Yeah, a lot of events.
So I'm pretty sure.
Any zombie bones in the chat?
Oh, yeah, the zombie bones are gone, I think, man. I hope you got all yours.
They've been buried. Yeah. I did. Anyway, yeah, there's new events. One of which is going to be Warhammer 40K, which I did not really know about or care about until very recently, because Owlcat released Rogue Trader, which is a CRPG in that universe. And it was pretty interesting. This is apparently like a massive franchise, by the way, particularly on the inferior continent known as Europe. The Brits love Warhammer 40K.
Do they?
Yeah, that's where it was created.
Nerds.
And it's like a way bigger deal over there than it is here. And here it's a big deal too, so that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, they're going to be adding some stuff with that. And then Vortex Decay's Realm. I don't know why I said decays like that. Yeah, whatever, don't care, they're events. Okay, Warzone map, Fortune's Keep. So we got a little image here of a research vessel, which is a mobile POI. So it has the shape of like a yacht with a helipad on it, but it has the like color scheme of it's
like a firefighting boat. That's what it looks like to me.
I don't know. It looks like a toy almost. It's like red, but like pretty bright red on the whole bottom. And then it's like stealth gray on the top half. It looks cool. Anyway, whatever. It's a new thing. It's called the research vessel. It's
it kind of looks like a research vessel.
Mobile POI. So here's what it says. A pontoon-style watercraft has appeared off the coast of Fortune's Keep.
Said it was a yacht. Nah.
This does not. Like so I've been on a pontoon before, and it was not this big at all.
It's because it's got those 2 things on each side it floats on, you know? One of those little pontoon things, how they float, you know what I mean? How it's open in the middle. That's what they're saying, yeah.
Is that what constitutes a pontoon?
I guess, because that's the only similarity I can see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big water sports guy.
A pontoon boat is a flattish boat that relies on floats on the side. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Allowed designers to create large deck plans fitted with a variety of accommodations, including a portable decontamination station, a buy station, and a helipad. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
So, so this mobile POI stays on the move throughout the first 2 minutes of a match before dropping anchor in one of a few predetermined locations. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that's how it worked. Okay.
I actually like that. I like that it does have some predictability in that respect, depending on how many predetermined locations there are, because that gives you some variety, but also once you kind of learn what the, whatever, let's say 6 locations are, you can also predict it sort of as well. So it'll vary from game to game, but once you're in a game, you'll be able to tell where it will end, and then you can plan around that. So you kind of get the variety, but also the strategic implications of predictability as well, if that is in fact how it will work, if it'll be predictable. But if it does it for exactly 2 minutes, you should be able to predict it. Like, okay, once circle 1 closes, that's when it drops anchor at the closest predetermined location it has. So let's plan on going there or whatever. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it plays, of course. So yeah, it has a helipad and a chopper as well. And it has ascenders as well. Once you're on the vessel, it's usually a great idea to commandeer it and utilize the equipment on board. You can. It says you can, and then there's a colon, like there's going to be a list, and there's not a list, in fact, actually. It's just the next bullet point. Got it. Okay. Exploring this craft includes a number of competitive advantages, including another colon, and now we do get a list. A decontamination station that works like the PDS. That's pretty crazy. I wonder how that works.
I don't know either. I haven't seen any gameplay of somebody using that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Because kind of my thought was, well, can't you just keep popping that decontamination station and stay on the boat? But obviously there's something that prevents that. So maybe there's either there's like a cooldown. So after it's been hit, you can't hit it again for like a minute or something. I don't know. But obviously something is there so that you can't just sit on the boat and gas forever. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder also if it costs money to activate it, because the next point here is an activatable UAV tower to monitor for opponents. So this we're already familiar with. The static little UAV
pay like
things.
2,000 or 3,000. Yeah.
You pay $2,000. Your guy does an animation for 20 minutes, and then you get a UAV sweep from that tower, which is a cool feature. I have always liked that. And that costs money, but they don't say that it costs money on this blog post, which leads me to believe it's very possible this activating the station will also cost money. But I don't know for sure yet. We'll know.
It closes when
Saturday.
Resurgence closes, and it has 3 uses per game. We won't know by Saturday because you'll have to play solos, because that's the only playlist that's in.
Oh, then I won't know by solos.
You have to play solos. Yeah.
Someone will tell us by Saturday, hopefully. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. And we'll get into that. But yeah, unique items purchasable from a special buy station and more.
It's got like a ray gun. I think it has 2 wonder weapons in there you can buy. It's a ray gun, and what's the other one they have? The Wonder Waffle or whatever, I think. I'm pretty sure you can get both of those there. I don't know what else was special. I know you can get the Bunker Buster kill streak. But yeah, it's basically it has the wonder weapons at it.
Okay.
I think the ray gun was like 10,000 or something when I saw it.
Okay. And then I wonder what and more means. If that actually means anything at all. Because it's possible that doesn't actually mean anything. Activision's been known to do that, so I don't know.
The key to a room that has loot similar to the vault. Is that room on the ship, I assume, then?
I would assume the room is not on the ship.
So that's one of the... That's kind of one of the and more. I would think it would be on the ship, but yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Oh, it is on the ship. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, obviously I haven't used this or played with it. And if it's solos only, we won't have anything to say about it on Saturday other than what we've seen on Twitter and stuff and in streams. But overall, this is pretty cool. It creates another hotspot. Tanner made a great point also about this last month. I don't know if it was in a bonus episode or a public episode, but like in ranked Fortune's Keep, for example, the number of players plus the size of the map makes it very difficult to land anywhere if you do not control a POI off rip, because everywhere is basically occupied and there's nowhere to go. But adding a new area of the map like this effectively just makes the map bigger. So now if you have a bad start, for example, in Resurgence on Fortune's Keep, and you're looking for somewhere to land, now that the map's a little bigger, maybe that'll make regaining possible, because there are more areas people can be. So there might be a safe little pocket for you, because right now there kind of isn't, especially in ranked. It's just everywhere is controlled. So I think this is a good thing for that reason. And then I also think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It moves around, creates some more variety. The potential for some gas plays in the mid game is kind of cool with the station. The UAV tower on it is nice. It's obviously going to be a hot spot, which is cool as well. I think Fortune's Keep probably could use something like that for people who want hot drops. Urzikstan could use one also, so let's put this research vessel in the middle of downtown. Thanks.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't love is the, purchasable wonder weapons, depending on if they're good or not. But if they are good, they probably just won't have it in ranked. Realistically, though, I don't think anyone who's serious about ranked play is going to be wasting 10K on a ray gun anyway. Yeah. It would have to be really insane for that to be worth doing. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. We'll know more about it when I can play Fortune's Keep not alone.
Honestly, it played better in solos, and I played 3 matches of it this morning than it does in trios or quads. I am dead serious. You can land again. It's actually a big difference. I was really surprised at how much better it was.
It's very interesting.
I haven't tried landing on the ship yet. I was just trying to do some of the weekly challenges, kill people in certain areas to get the new gun unlocked.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, we'll have more to say maybe on Saturday, but definitely in the coming weeks this month on that topic. So next, modes. Vondel BR new mode. Vondel now offers the beloved BR experience. With a player count of 72, this mode brings fresh pacing and makes for a great addition for BR fans. What was the player count for Vondel Resurgence?
72.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I don't know why they're saying new mode. It's not a new mode. We've had Vondel Battle Royale, but okay. Maybe they're saying to this year. I don't know, but it's not new.
Interesting. Yeah. So, okay. They have a couple other things to say about it, about the Champions Quest. There is a Champions Quest. It'll debut with its own version of it. While the quest remains similar, this version comes with its own unique elements. Okay. Gallium applies constant snapshot effect and HUD icon on nearby players. Okay, I'm assuming that means you're snapshotted and your teammates are as well.
I don't understand this either, because I'm reading this, and you would think they would word it in a way to say like applies a snapshot effect on your teammates, on the team of who's holding it, because there's no way you run around and you're just people trying to push you are getting snapshotted by it, right? I don't think they would do that. So I don't like how they describe this. I'm not sure what it means.
I was going to agree, but it's every element is worded that way. This implies that all these negatives we're about to read don't apply to the people holding the elements, but the enemies around them. And that's weird because in every other version of the nuke contract, the Champion's Quest, the elements that you need to acquire to make the bomb impose penalties on the holders of the contract, the people doing the nuke. But for some reason, it sounds like there are now benefits on Vondel holding the elements. They might be thinking it would be too difficult to do a nuke on Vondel if you're marked on the map. That doesn't track for me. But I don't know how this works. So I guess we'll figure it out. I'm just going to keep reading. So Gallium applies constant snapshot effect and HUD icon on nearby players. Deuterium impose fatigue on nearby players, hindering core movements. I would imagine that means you can't slide or dive, which is very cringe. And Neptunium, which is a fake element, periodically electrocutes nearby players. Important notes. Victories on both maps will count towards Champion's Quest progress. That's cool. So you need like 30 wins to get a nuke contract. You can now get those wins on either Vondel or Urzikstan. That's cool. Yeah. Successfully completing the mission will award players with the same items on both maps. So the reward isn't any different, but the contract is. So yeah, I don't know how the element thing works, because if it is affecting enemies, not you and your teammates, then it's going to be just massively easier to get a nuke on Vondel than in Urzikstan. Like, insanely easier, obviously. Because on Vondel, every element you pick up messes up your team.
So when I go to the Call of Duty wiki, which is made by not Call of Duty, this is the way they word it. The first one, the squad of the carrier and the carrier themselves will be highlighted like a snapshot grenade. Then the next one, the carrier is fatigued and coughs when sprinting. The last one, the carrier and any player around him will randomly get shocked like a shock stick and will cause vehicles to haywire.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I believe that. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't think it was necessary to change the penalties from Urzikstan, although I'm not mad about it in the case of the snapshot effect and HUD well, the HUD icon's really bad, actually. In fact,
I don't understand that, because you're already on the HUD when you're holding elements anyways. So I'm a little confused.
Does it track you in real time like the weapons case does?
You can wallbang people, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what. So I think that's the same. I think it's just basically giving the snapshot effect, so it also will highlight you.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. The HUD icon's by far the worst part. Well, the snapshot would be really bad too. Yeah. You get the HUD icon in both modes, so.
Oh yeah, because it's on nearby players too. Not just the person holding it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like that they're switching it up from the big map. It's good they're not just transferring it straight over. So I don't know. This sounds harder than doing one on big map, to be honest.
Well, not having the mini map scrambled, I actually think is really huge. I think that's the worst element for big map nuke. That's actually really toxic, especially when we were in the RAM meta and people would be off mini map. And they still will be with SMGs, which is when they would be in range, obviously, because minimap. So I actually think this might be easier because you will at least have your minimap in this. Because either way, you're highlighted through walls because the HUD icon's on both. The fatigue on nearby players hindering core movements, if all that means is you cough while you sprint, that doesn't matter at all because there's a HUD icon on you, so who cares? But if it also means you can't like slide, well then that's really, really bad. I don't know though. And then this is the only one I don't like. Periodically electrocutes nearby players. Just random like shots.
That's unnecessary.
That's super
really
dumb.
Stupid.
That's super dumb. And the fact that it can do it to enemies as well is like weird. I don't know. I don't like that one at all. But the other two I could maybe get behind. But I do agree with you. It is kind of cool that it's like different than the Urzikstan penalties. Makes it feel a little different.
I just wish it had its own rewards. According to what they say here, you don't get different rewards, which is kind of stupid. Like, you should have a set of rewards dedicated to Big Map and then a set dedicated to Vondel as well, like Vondel themed even or something. I don't know. That's kind of a miss. Like, there's no real reason for somebody to like do this over Big Map basically because you get the same exact rewards out of it. So it's kind of stupid, I think.
If you've already done Big Map, there's really no reason to go for this, and that is kind of an L. I agree with you there. Yeah. However, if you have not yet gotten a nuke, I think it's, even though the rewards are the same, I do think it's cool that there's another option on a different map that's going to play substantially differently than Urzikstan. And it's going to play even more differently because the penalties for holding elements is different as well. Without knowing all the details, again, I think this actually does sound easier. If you're going for a nuke, you might want to try this one instead of the Urzikstan one. Fewer people can push you because there are fewer people on the map. Number one, that's really big. Way easier to not get third-partied on Vondel also. Because you can just be on a rooftop and the only way people are getting to you is by climbing upstairs or jumping from another rooftop to your rooftop, and you will see them coming. Whereas on Urzikstan, there are a lot of situations where it's just they'll balloon onto you. I mean, they could balloon onto you in Vondel too, I guess. But I think it's going to be easier to like camp as well on Vondel. And like hold rooftops and kill people that are trying to push you in general. And the main thing, not having the minimap scrambled, again, I think that is by far the worst element on Urzikstan. It makes it way more difficult to survive, especially when you're getting pushed by a bunch of different people. So now having a minimap where people are firing their SMGs with their Zem compensators, you'll see a bunch of red dots. So you'll know a lot better where people are coming from. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But this is overall pretty cool. I just don't love Neptunium. But anyway, we'll get it by Saturday and we'll talk about it. So, all right, next, playlists. Okay.
So yeah, everyone is real mad about the playlist for the next month. Real mad.
Yeah,
so most of the content this season was added to Fortune's Keep. The new kill streak is only on Fortune's Keep, which we'll talk about. The research vessel is only on Fortune's Keep, and there's only Fortune's Keep solos in.
Yeah.
And like quads is Ashika Island, and then next week quads is Fortune's Keep. So it's like they're not doing much rotating. The only rotating is on Urzikstan, and that's like solos, duos, quads, like depending on the week. So it's not rotating like between Vondel, Keep, and Ashika in one playlist at all for the next month.
Yes, correct. So if you really like playing one particular map, every week you will be stuck in one team size. So it'll be only solos, only duos, only trios, and only quads each week, which is pretty cringe. Yeah. However, if you want to play trios Fortune's Keep, you can do that anytime if you want to play ranked. And if matchmaking works for you, because it doesn't for us still. So cool. Sick game. Anyway, yeah. Weapons and attachments. New weapons. SOA Subverter Battle Rifle. Chambered in 7.62, this hard-hitting rifle dominates at mid to longer ranges thanks to a moderate rate of fire and predictable recoil. And you can unlock this via the weekly challenge. So, don't know if this is like meta or anything in multiplayer or Warzone. However, the fact that that's even an open question is interesting. Because a lot of times we will get weapons added to the game, like a lever action shotgun, for example, where I can tell you on the roadmap before the weapons even been added to the game that it will not be meta. But in this case, it might be. I have no idea yet whether that be in multiplayer or in Warzone. Now, in multiplayer, I find the question less interesting because even if it is meta in multiplayer, they're just going to ban it in ranked play anyway, so who cares? But in Warzone, they would not do that. So I am curious to see if this becomes meta for Warzone. Maybe get a new weapon, kind of spicing things up.
It's definitely in the meta, yeah. I haven't used it yet because I just unlocked it an hour and a half ago. But like on paper, like chest shots only, it kills faster than like every other meta gun at close, medium, and long range.
Wow.
But apparently it has a little bit of bounce to it. It doesn't have a good headshot multiplier like the Ram does, so the Ram still smokes it up close if you hit headshots or even neck shots. And yeah, so I'll try it. I'll level it up after this, and we'll talk about it Saturday.
Yeah, I'm curious what the recoil is like. It's very interesting. The mag size is good, though. It has a 50 rounder, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good irons, too, so irons are usable.
Yeah. That's been an annoying trend in this game, is they add good guns, and then they make the max magazine capacity 18 rounds. Like, okay, this gun would be meta if it just had more bullets in it. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Give me an extended mag option. Even if it's like makes it way slower or whatever, like at least have it. I don't know. Anyway, that is not the case for this gun. 50 is plenty. Well, it's enough.
Yeah, that's like it's a battle rifle. So you add a battle rifle that on paper kills faster than the MTZ 7.62, also a battle rifle at every range. And it also has 20 rounds more in the magazine than the MTZ 7.62 does, you know? It's like they have to go and add some magazines and different attachments to some of these guns, because that just makes no sense. That it kills faster and has 20 more rounds than another battle rifle. That's supposed to be like very similar to. It's weird.
It's very weird. And they've done it with like a number of guns in this game. Launch guns and DLC guns, which is like annoying. It really sucks when you're like, oh, I really like this gun, but the biggest mag I can get is 30 rounds. Like, I just can't use it unless I'm playing solos. Like, having one or two guns like that is fine. I think it's even kind of cool. Like the Val in MW19. That was an example. 30 round max mag, but it killed insanely fast. So people would use it in solos, but you just couldn't use it outside of that. Like having one or two of those, that's pretty cool. But like half of the guns, like that have attractive profiles on paper, very annoying.
Yeah.
So
it's like so simple. Just add the 40 round conversion kit magazine from the MTZ 7.62 to the base gun. I think the reason they don't do it is because the way the game is made now, like I don't know if they can just add a 40 round magazine in specifically to Warzone, or if they want to do that, but like not have it available in multiplayer or something, you know? I don't know why they do it. Because they have different weapon balancing, but I don't know if they're willing anymore to add different attachments just for Warzone, or change a specific attachments just for Warzone. That's not just like a slight balancing. It's like adding a whole item there that isn't in the base game.
Right. Yeah, that's probably the reasoning they have, though. You're probably right about that. Because, like...
And they've done it. They've done it in Caldera a lot, to a lot of guns. They did things like that. But I don't think we've I don't think we've really seen it since that at all, have we? I don't think we've seen that in Warzone 2 at all.
What attachments? I don't even remember that in Caldera.
Yeah, they added like bigger mags on certain guns that they didn't work that way in multiplayer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's because they were like, yeah, I don't know. Either way, we got a new battle rifle. We'll know more about it on Saturday for multiplayer and Warzone, so keep your eyes peeled. But it might be in there, so that's kind of cool. A new melee weapon. So normally I refuse to talk about melee weapons because they are cringe and there shouldn't be literally any in the game. Because this is a first-person shooter, not a first-person stabber. That's what FPS stands for, in fact. Shooter, not stabber. But whatever. We have the head of Raven is from London, so I guess they like stabbing implements over there. So they add a bunch, and it's cringe, and I hate it. And the newest one is called the Soul Render, cringe, and change it. And it appears to be like a broadsword, just a normal looking sword. And normally, again, I would refuse to talk about this. However, in this case, it does something that I kind of like. Just very fun and exciting. I saw a clip on Twitter. The Soul Render can kill people who are holding riot shields. It like bats the riot shield away, and then you just start cutting them. So it's an anti-riot shield melee weapon. Why this weapon in particular? No idea. Doesn't make sense from like a realism perspective. In fact, I'd rather use a riot shield against a sword than a gun in real life. But in this game, unlike real life, I guess, riot shields are perfect against 50 caliber anti-materiel sniper rifles, but they don't work against some guy with a sword. So, okay, whatever. But gameplay wise, that's pretty cool. And evidently, according to some tweet I saw, this is intentional. It doesn't say so in this blog post here, but if you're tired of people using riot shields, you can unlock this and use it and run up to some guy and kill him, which is kind of funny.
Well, the downside is, though, that it's a one-hit melee weapon in Warzone also.
That is a downside for sure, but that will for sure get patched, right? There's no shot that's intentional.
I don't know, because it doesn't just one hit. It's almost like a finishing move type of thing, but it's not as slow as a finishing move. So it seems pretty damn intentional to me. Because it's like maybe basically like in the little cutscene type thing when you grab the person and start stabbing them or however it works, slicing them up, you have time to be shot, so they find it balanced. I don't know, but it's a one-hit melee weapon, so we will know within probably 48 hours if Warzone will be infested with that, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, as always, with things like this, like gimmicky stuff like that, if it is in fact good, they're just going to nerf it pretty quickly. So yeah, I just don't think people are
unlocking it yet or anything, or
right.
So you haven't really seen it too much.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to unlock it, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the Battle Pass sector. Okay.
Well, good for you, because melee weapons are cringe. So anyway, moving on. New aftermarket parts. Wow. So the Jack Backsaw Kit. I hope you guys just love the acronym JAK, by the way, because we are never getting away from it. Every single aftermarket part is a Jack something. I don't know what it is, but change it. Anyway, this is for the Holger 5.56. It is a high-capacity drum mag alongside a double barrel configuration, allowing the weapon to fire 2 bullets at a time. Now, normally, I would give this a lot more consideration, thought, and words, because that sounds super interesting. However, this attachment, or the attachment most similar, the AMR 9 double barrel, is completely terrible and unusable, and they took an idea that could have been really interesting and balanced it properly and dropped the ball massively. They will do the same for this. So this attachment will suck balls and won't be usable, so this doesn't matter. Great idea, but they're going to probably just ruin it also, unfortunately. So don't care. The Jack Outlaw 277 kit for the Boss B, which is the battle rifle. Oh boy. Transform the Boss B into a lever action rifle. Got it. So moving on. The Jack Burnout kit for the Holger 26 LMG. Gives the Holger 26 an adverse fire mode that provides a dramatically increased fire rate, but will overheat and expand the barrel, introducing increased recoil over time. Okay, have we seen this before? Because I saw a clip on Twitter, and I don't know if that was some like leaker file explorer, or if that was like for an attachment we've already seen.
I think we have already seen it.
For another gun, right?
It doesn't change the fire. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I get them mixed up now. I don't know if this if this was a leak we saw like a month ago, yeah, and it's just now in the game, or if this is the second one. I don't know.
I want to say it's like a leak. So this is the
You know what it is? When the season started, I think they tell you every single conversion kit that's coming. Because I remember when season 2 launched, we went over like 7 or 8 conversion kits. So we just already talked about it, I think.
Yeah. And then I think the clip we saw was a leak. So so I think it's just finally here. This is the only aftermarket part that could be interesting. Because from the leaked Twitter clip that I saw, you guys I'm sure could find it if you go look for it online. It really does make it fire dramatically faster. And if it doesn't like completely ruin the damage or damage range or whatever, which it might, but if it doesn't, this could be like worth using potentially. It's not going to be like a meta Warzone long range attachment, obviously, because you're going to get insane recoil if you keep blasting it. But like for multiplayer, I could maybe see it being good. And even for like resurgence on like smaller maps, putting like a red dot, like the new red dot on it, I could also see this being pretty good. We don't know. I don't know yet. I don't even know if this is in the game yet, because this might be like week 8 or something. But if this does become relevant, obviously we will let you guys know. But of these 3 attachments, it's the only one that might be, unfortunately. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. General adjustments is the next section. Yeah, so the same thing with the crosshair instantly centering on your screen like we talked about in multiplayer. So now weapon balancing. Okay, here we go. ARs, and keep in mind this is Warzone only. The MCW, near mid damage increased to 26, up from 24. Mid damage increased to 23, up from 19. So people were excited about this a little bit in our Discord and on Twitter. I don't know why, because the MCW has no recoil. So it is the gun you would use in Warzone with like an optic from very far away, and it did not change at all at its very far away damage range.
No, it's like 1300 millisecond time to kill at long range.
Yeah, so this gun is still useless. It doesn't matter. Because guess what? The near mid damage and mid damage range it has, it's still getting fried at those ranges to other guns.
Correct. It's still the slowest at those ranges as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so scared to buff it. People would love an MCW meta. I don't understand it. They're just petrified to buff this gun.
Yeah.
I fully expected this gun to have by far the most bundles and also be the best Warzone gun when this game launched, and it's still just, I mean, terrible, man.
Yeah.
I really feel like they're missing out on some cash by making that thing good, but whatever. Yeah, like at 60 meters, the new gun kills in 840 milliseconds. The MCW kills in 1350. Okay.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah.
You can hit every bullet a headshot at 60 meters and it's still killing at 1200 milliseconds. It's, I can't stress this enough, a terrible gun.
Right. Yeah. You're actually getting a faster time to kill with many other guns even if you're missing like 3 more bullets with those other guns. Like, actually, it's that bad. So don't use it, and this buff doesn't matter. Holger 556 AR. Max damage increase, max damage range increased by 3 meters. Near mid damage set to 34, which is a new damage range. And then the near mid damage range is also set to 45 meters. So it got buffed up close-ish. Up close and in its second damage range, which is a new value.
Yeah.
I don't know if this makes it relevant. Not for big map, probably, but maybe for Resurgence.
I don't know. It actually surprisingly looks pretty good.
Really?
I'm looking at the stats of it. Yeah, it looks, I mean, right in there with the meta guns pretty much. Like long range time to kill is around 1,000. Close range is around 700.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I have not used
I haven't
this
seen
gun
anyone use it yet, but
in a very long time, so I don't know what its like recoil and fire rate is like. I don't remember. I remember it feeling like AR, and that's all.
That's
like,
the best way to describe it. Fire rate a little bit slower, recoil nothing really. But I just feel like I wonder like how the Holger LMG compares. Like if there's a reason to even run the assault rifle version ever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of other guns. Yeah. Adding a second damage range and a new drop off does help it a lot though. And that is 45 meters. You're at your second damage range up to 45 meters where you're doing 34 damage to the tummy.
Yeah.
So depending on multipliers as well, and keep in mind that's without any attachments. So with attachments, your second damage range is likely going to be, 53, maybe 52, 53, 54, maybe meters. That's pretty good, even for big map. So if it does have an attractive long range, TTK, which it does, and it's controllable, that might be worth using. So something to keep your eye on there. The BP-50, which is a relatively new gun, got a bunch of changes. And they were nerfs, actually. So again,
not understanding it. It was a pretty good gun, but guess what? A lot of people didn't use it because the magazine, it wasn't even like a top 3 meta gun for most people, and they nerf it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Don't fully understand it.
Yeah. They're leaning more into it being like a fast handling AR because they reduced damage a little bit. But they made it like your tack stance is better. That doesn't really matter, but like it ADS is a little faster now. No, decreased ADS movement speed and then gave it more recoil. Or more horizontal recoil, but less vertical recoil. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they come up with this stuff.
I don't.
If I were I would love to know why they do all this. But overall, it was definitely nerfed because it's damage. It's up close and second damage range damages were reduced by 2 from 30 to 28, 28 to 26 respectively. And that's like likely where you were using that gun. So yeah, this gun's kind of probably not worth using now, especially with the Holger buff. I mean, I'm just going to use that. Easier to control than a BP-50 and does more damage. So, okay. Anyway, whatever. SVA 545 was buffed a little bit just in handling. Sprint to fire is faster and ADS time's a little faster now. Not a big deal. RAM 7. Okay, so this is a big deal. This is frankly what I wanted because I was very done with the RAM 7 meta, but I'm not sure we are because it only got one change. Max damage range decreased to 26 meters from 33 meters. Okay. That is pretty substantial, but it definitely doesn't ruin the RAM. And I'm not sure if this is still going to be meta or not? I don't really know. I guess it's going to depend more on what other guns changed rather than this change itself. But yeah, not a huge nerf, really.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the way I've felt like playing Resurgence and Urzikstan, most of my engagements with the RAM are even more than the 33 meters, like by quite a bit. So I feel like decreasing that from 33 to 26 isn't making that big of a difference.
I agree.
It's kind of, I feel like people actually don't always realize how close 30 meters is. Like, mark something on your map and walk back till it shows 30 meters. That is not that far. Like, you're not often using your RAM in that damage range anyways. Like, you are usually using it outside of that. And again, the thing they keep not touching on the RAM is the headshot multiplier, which is far and away the best thing about it. And that remains untouched. So if you're mounted up, or if you can, you know, the gun doesn't have a lot of recoil. So if you can hit a bunch of headshots, you're killing faster than like any gun at most ranges.
Yeah.
If you're taking into account how many shots you are taking and also hitting, because you're going to be hitting a lot of those. Some guys on a head glitch and only his head showing. There aren't too many guns that are going to kill faster than the RAM would.
Right.
So I don't think this does a whole lot. I haven't been using the RAM for like 2.5 weeks now anyways, but I think people that were using it, I think it's still safe to use it.
I agree. It's definitely going to be worse on Urzikstan than it was before, but not by that much, because like you said, a lot of your engagements are going to be at your
a ton of, most of them are, yeah.
Beyond.
I think this is actually
meters
just
anyway.
I think this is only worse for Resurgence.
That's what I was going to say.
That would be where you would have engagements between that range where it gets worse. But like Urzikstan, you're like shooting somebody at 80 meters, or you're in a building fighting them at 10. So I don't think this is that big of a deal.
That's what I was going to say, is this is going to be a lot more noticeable like in ranked Fortune's Keep. Because on that map especially, you are going to have a lot of engagements between like whatever 26 and 33 meters. That's actually super relevant. But on Urzikstan, I think it is going to be relevant on Urzikstan. There are a fair amount of gunfights. Like if you're in like Lowtown, for example, probably a lot of those engagements, the enemy is between 26 and 33 meters from you, or whatever those values become with attachments. So more likely, 29 to like 37 meters. It's probably, there are like a fair amount of those as well on Big Map, but not as nearly as many as there will be on like Fortune's Keep. So I think this is still going to be absolutely usable. But I'm talking about in a vacuum. So it depends on, again, what other guns changed. Did that Holger buff change things? Did some other buffs we're going to talk about change things relative to the RAM? We don't know, but the RAM is not ruined, which I don't hate. But like Tanner said, I think what the RAM really needs, honestly, is a headshot multiplier and maybe neck multiplier reduction a little bit. That's what makes it so good. So anyway, we'll see. And again, we'll know more on Saturday. So BRs, MTZ 7, 6, and 2 was nerfed. Max damage nerfed. Minimum damage also nerfed from 34 to 32. That's a big deal. And then multipliers were lowered as well. Neck multi 0.2x lower, lower torso 0.1x lower, head multi 0.1x lower, and then near mid damage range decreased as well from 44 to 40 meters. This gun's kind of chalked, especially with the 30 round mag. Also, I'm not seeing it anymore. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, like it's still decent on paper, but when you think about the mag size, it's not worth running anymore for those nerfs, I would say.
Yeah.
Because like it's still in line if you're hitting chest shots up close with the RAM. It's like the exact same time to kill, but with the new gun now, that has double the amount of bullets in it almost. It's I think it's done for, unfortunately.
Yeah. So there you go. The Sidewinder, I'm not reading it. I refuse to. Don't use it. SMGs, the AMR9. So yeah, once again, the Etten double barrel, the bullets fire vertically instead of randomly. Okay, it's still terrible. The problems with it, for those of you who don't know, we talked about it, are its damage range is like obscene. It's like a 3-meter damage range, like minimum damage range. So it's really dumb. Ram 9. Some of the barrels were buffed. 3 of the barrels were buffed, giving you more velocity, more damage range benefit, and more recoil, depending on which barrel we're talking about, as well as reducing an ADS penalty on one of them as well. I don't know what the meta barrel is for the Ram 9 by name, but it's probably one of these 3, and it probably got either more recoil control or more velocity and damage range.
I think they were running the Imperator barrel.
I want to say it's the Imperator, which got 20% bullet velocity instead of 15%. And then more importantly, 20% more damage range instead of 12%, which is pretty big because the Ram 9 has pretty solid default damage range for an SMG already. So 8% more on that barrel is probably fairly relevant. So that's interesting. I don't know if it needed it, but I don't think this is going to make it like overpowered or anything. I think it's probably fine.
Yeah, a lot of people like saw this like, oh my gosh, the Ram 9 got buffed even more. It's like, well, it's a few specific barrels. So
yeah,
I mean, the base gun did not change at all.
Exactly. And the downside of the Ram 9 is the sprint to fire time, which has not changed at all. So you're still going to have to incur a pretty substantial sprint to fire speed penalty if you're using the Ram 9. That did not change. So, which I like, because you want guns to have very particular pros and cons that fulfill a niche. So if you're okay with that, you know, if you're like a slower player, then this is probably a really good gun, because you're not like running into buildings all the time where that's going to be super relevant. You'll be, you know, listening for people and then pre-aiming with your SMG. And if you're doing that, well, then sprint to fire doesn't matter. You don't care about that. You just care about damage range. And now it's buffed. So I like that it still fulfills its niche because they didn't change that, but just something to keep in mind there. The WSP9 was its hip fire and tack stance spread were buffed. Wait. Yes, they were buffed. So it'll hip fire a little better and tack stance a little better, or a lot better. I don't know what 2 degrees per S. I don't know what S means.
You don't know what that is, man? You don't know exactly what that would do? Come on.
I don't know what going from 2 degs/S to 1.8 degs/S means. I know it's a good thing. It's better. It's a tighter hip fire spread, but I have no idea by how much. So, okay. Rival 9, the Headhunter carbine kit. Don't use it in Warzone. And yeah, the MW2 P90, again, they fixed the iron sight optic. So, moving on to LMG. So here's another big one. Bruin MK9. So this got changed in multiplayer. I already hinted at that. Here's what changed for Warzone. Lower torso damage multi is now 1.1 instead of 1.05. Again, probably often changing your shots to kill by 1 bullet, which means it's got a faster TTK, which makes it pretty good. As well, decreased ADS time, 410 instead of 450 milliseconds. That's something. I don't know about noticeable, but I think it's relevant. 40 milliseconds is not bad for an ADS benefit at all. So there you go. And keep in mind, these are default values. So Increased movement speed from 3.9 meters per second to 4.4. That's pretty big. And that becomes more relevant in Warzone than multiplayer because you're moving your character a lot. So moving half a meter per second faster, always, pretty big deal. And then they echoed that with crouch movement speed, tack sprint speed, and most importantly, well, second most importantly on the mobility front, increased ADS move speed from 1.9 to 2.4 meters per second. That's a very big buff to its strafe speed. Like very big, actually. So this gun might be relevant now as well. This was another one that people have been talking about. Because it did get nerfed with, I think, Season 1 Reloaded. Because a lot of people were using it. And now it's been buffed again slightly. Well, substantially, actually. In terms of damage, slightly. I don't know if it's meta or not, but it's certainly possible now. For sure.
This is all I used this morning, and I like this thing a lot. It feels a lot better than it used to. Yeah, I used the Metaphor build, which you can find in our Discord. Either I pinned it in the Warzone gun builds channel or Metaphor's YouTube video. But yeah, it feels very, very good. Feels excellent when mounted up. It feels like the perfect medium range gun right now. Long range, I still like it less than how much I was liking the MTZ 762 because unfortunately, since the Bruin was originally an MW2 gun, it fires smoke grenades. Every bullet you shoot, a smoke grenade comes out of your barrel. So it makes tracking at those longer ranges pretty difficult, I think. But like the medium to medium long range, it feels really, really good. You hit a lot of shots. I'm using the new Jack optic on it, the glassless optic.
How is that on build. Keyboard and mouse, by the way? We never talked about that.
That optic?
Now that you've actually used it, yeah. Does the little things
I used it last time too. It's I don't really notice the little fins anymore.
That's cool.
It's good, but still, like at longer ranges, I still hit more shots with a gun that has good irons, I think. Like I was missing more shots using that than I was with the MTZ with iron sights.
I would love if a content creator like Ace or something would make a video showing the firing aim stability benefit it gives. Like, I'm very curious how much that helps with that optic. But the fins not being obstructive in practice for someone on keyboard and mouse is a very good sign. So that's cool. But anyway, yeah, Bruin might be relevant in Warzone. Again, we'll probably know more on Saturday. So next, the Polemyot 762 was nerfed. So it has more ADS idle sway, which basically means it has some more recoil now. Okay. And then the conversion kit that everyone was using on it, the Jack Annihilator Bullpup kit, has less bullet velocity than it used to have. From 760 to 660. So a pretty big bullet velocity nerf as well.
That gun's officially chalked. If anybody was still using the Bullpup Polemyot, which you shouldn't have been because it wasn't very good, definitely don't use it now. Yeah, it's not good at all. At all.
Yeah. So, L Jack Polemyot. Anyway, snipers. The XRK Stalker. Now ADSs from 610 milliseconds to 580, so a little faster. And then you can also get factory iron sights. I don't really know why you'd use that in Warzone unless you are farming TikToks. That would actually be like fun and like plunder. Running around with an iron sight, one-shot kill gun, but whatever.
Yeah, it would, huh? Yeah.
The Cat AMR, the big boy. Decreased ADS time from 760 to 720 milliseconds.
I like that.
That's actually fairly relevant because when you stack other aim down sight benefit attachments, that might be even more substantial than 40 milliseconds, all told. I don't know how that would work exactly, but that's good. It's still going to ADS quite slow. obviously, but I'll take that. And then the SPX 80 from MW2 increased ADS time from 545 to 570 milliseconds.
Okay.
I don't know why they would do that. Yeah.
A gun that nobody uses that doesn't one shot to the head.
Headshot,
Okay.
Yeah. Got it. So anyway, some pistol changes. Don't care. Not reading them. And then wonder weapon changes. The Wunderwaffe DG2 was buffed a lot. So land on that research vessel and buy one, I guess. I'm not giving you details, so that's it. And then the Limb Ripper was likewise buffed for Warzone. You move 25% faster while revving, and they made it longer also in Warzone. It's now a 1.4 meter chainsaw instead of a 1.1 meter chainsaw. Nice. Okay. If I die to that in Warzone, then I'm done doing this podcast, I guess. It's just that simple. I will lose my mind if I'm transported back to 2007 Gears of War and I'm just getting my saw chained in Warzone. Yeah. I will lose my mind. But it's possible. So anyway, moving on. General audio improvements. Wow. So normally I would say I don't want to read them, but I'll do it anyway. But in this case, I do want to read them because the last time we got audio improvements in a patch note, they were very unlike them, not lying. They were actually real audio improvements and it was truthful. So maybe these are truthful as well. We'll see. Here's what we have on the menu. Boosted ascender distance by 16 feet. So you will hear people taking rappels from 16 feet farther away than you used to. That's a lot, and that's a W. 16 feet, pretty big for a rappel.
Why do they say feet when everything in the game is measured in meters?
Super good question. Super good question. I don't know. But either way, I'll take this.
The ascender volume was already pretty good too, so this is a lot.
The volume was very good. I thought the distance was actually fine, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this is almost unnecessary, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if you were almost anywhere on a roof, you would hear somebody hitting a zip on the other side of the roof.
Yeah, it seems that way. I'm not mad that it got increased though.
No.
Maybe. You wouldn't want to get too crazy with this because you'd want to be able to like if I zip up to Trump and there's a team there, but they're literally on the opposite side of the roof, they shouldn't hear me zipping.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if they can now, that's kind of cringe, but we will see. On paper, I like it. So there we go. This is insane, and I'm super curious if it's real. Boosted parachute distance, 100 feet. So you'll hear parachutes 100 feet farther away than you used to now. Now, if true, maybe the biggest quality of life improvement of all time in Warzone. However, again, like I've said recently before, the problem isn't so much the parachute audio as it is the dive bombing audio. Because good players are not going to be parachuting 100 feet away from me. They're going to be landing and then parachuting, opening it for like a millisecond and then killing me. But still, I like this. This is good.
Yeah, so our last game, we were rotating in, me and Jake, running through cargo. And I hear like a faint parachute sound, and I see this guy that's like far away, and Jake's like, I can't believe I could hear that parachute so clearly. I was like, wait, was that guy way up in front of us? And he's like, yeah. This guy was probably 80 meters away, and all he did was jump off like a sea can, like a triple stack sea can or something, and was parachuting right to left. Probably like 80 meters away, something like that. And we could hear his parachute at that distance as we're sprinting.
Wow.
So seems pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. I will take it. I will take it. Again, the main thing I'm hoping for is dive bomber audio, but we'll see. The overall volume of reviving a teammate has been slightly increased. Okay. A new unique sound has been added for reviving a player so that it is significantly more noticeable than nearby players.
I didn't notice this
The
today at
reviving
all.
sound is already unique. Why did we need a new one? Yeah, I don't understand this.
I mean, I like never hear people reviving anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time unless I'm doing it or being rezzed, which is rare. But I revive people all the time and I hear it. But when and that's the only time I hear it. That's a good point. But the sound it makes was already unique. I don't know why we needed a new one. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. I don't know what that means.
Well, I think it was probably self-revive, and being revived by somebody else was the same sound, so they just made it different. That's what I would assume.
Okay. So the old sound is now going to be self-res, and there's going to be a new sound if it's someone rezzing someone else.
I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm not sure.
That's the only thing that makes sense, so you're probably right. Unless they're just being unclear, which is also extremely possible. So we'll let you guys know. And this is nice too. Reviving a teammate while using a medic vest now has a unique audio cue that players within a small radius can hear. So this isn't going to be relevant like very often, but if you get a down, like if you're outside a building and there's a team inside a building and you get a down, you're like, all right, let's push off of that. And you hear a res, you know you're on a timer before that guy is like rezzed, obviously. So it's like, okay, I have to climb this staircase, get into that room. Do I have time? But you don't know if they're using a medic vest or not. Now you will, if it's sufficiently unique. I like that because I'm not kidding. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened to us a handful of times since this was added to the game, where we would get a down, push off of it, and then die only because the person reviving had a medic vest and the other guy was up and plated way sooner than we thought was possible because we did not account for the fact that medic vests are in the game, which is RNG, which was very cringe. So now if there's some counterplay by having this feature, that's a very good thing. Now, again, not going to be relevant most of the time, but I like the idea, and it's a good thing to add. So that's cool. What would be even better is to remove all vests from the game, including medic vests, obviously, but we're not getting that. So, and unfortunately, that's it for audio improvements. So when people are dive bombing you prior to parachuting, you still will not hear them. They will still be silent. So good luck. Final elimination cam. A kill cam has been added to showcase the final kill of each match across most modes in Warzone, excluding lockdown and plunder. Don't play lockdown or plunder. So basically, we get a final kill cam in Warzone now. I don't think we've ever had this.
No.
If this
doesn't
works
work
as
out the time
intended,
either.
which has never worked. So by the way, kill cams have never, like final kill cams have never, or regular kill cams for that matter, actually, have not worked as intended since Black Ops 4, since 2018. In any game, I'm not kidding. They have been buggy disasters in every single game for 6 years now. So will this work as intended? Sometimes maybe, which would be cool. Let's fix normal kill cams first, but I do like this idea. That'll be neat. Did you guys see this today?
It worked. Yeah, and then another time we didn't see it, or like one time Lag didn't see it, but we did. So it doesn't work, and let's be super clear, it will never work correctly. But when it did work, it was cool. Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. And then Resurgence combat records. Stat tracking has been enabled for Resurgence.
Wow.
Did you look, Tanner? Does this apply retroactively, or is it just going to start tracking now?
Oh, no, I doubt, buddy. I didn't look, but I would not think so. No.
I wouldn't think so either.
Not
but
at all.
I just wanted to check and be sure.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of crazy we're just getting this in early March, but okay.
Yeah. Especially because we got ranked before we could look at our stats. That's wild. That is so wild. But whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't know if it applies retroactively. I suspect it doesn't, but we'll probably know by Saturday. So moving on. Gameplay. New features in all maps and modes. Wow. The personal decontamination station, the new field upgrade. So yeah, we're already familiar with this. You throw it down and you get a little 6-meter bubble of safety from the gas. So you can, what's cool about this is you can make gas plays to hit buys that would otherwise be inaccessible. So for example, if you're like on the train and gas overtakes it or whatever, and you want to buy your teammate back, but it's now deeper than 40 meters into gas, throw this sucker down, boom, you buy your teammates back, or a gas mask so you can run back into zone. Pretty cool.
Wonder if you can buy these at buy stations. I didn't check, or if you have to just find them.
I suspect you can't, because you can't really buy anything other than boxes as field upgrades. Wait, can you buy portable radars actually?
Yeah, I would see. I would think you can buy it, but I didn't check.
I would guess you can't, but if you can, that's going to change a lot. I don't know if I would like that.
I never found one today playing Urzikstan at all. I found one in like the third chest on Fortune's Keep, though, in my first game. So not sure. I did see somebody using it on Urzikstan, though, because I saw the little area, like you see the area on the mini map. So somebody used one, but I didn't personally see one.
Okay. Yeah.
So that may be worth buying late game.
If you can buy it, that makes this way more relevant. Because, like, this was cool when it first got added on Caldera, I guess. I kind of made fun of it, but then there were people making cute little plays with it on the TL, and I was like, oh, okay. I was never like smart enough to ever use it once, to be clear. But
no, of course not.
It being back is, I think, pretty cool, I guess. So anyway.
Yeah.
It'll last for 15 seconds or until destroyed. However, the duration is reduced by 50% in the final 2 circles. So it'll last 7.5 seconds late game. Kind of a weird decision, but okay, I guess.
Yeah, and then don't forget, like I said, these show up on the mini map. So like if you're final circle and like the other team doesn't know where you are and you're trying to make a gas play, if you throw this down, they will immediately know where you are. So just keep that in mind before you use them.
They'll see the circle of no gas.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
On their mini map, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a good thing to keep in mind. So anyway, moving on. Fortune's Keep Resurgence. Bunker Buster. Oh boy, it's in. The new kill streak.
Yeah,
Reach fortified areas with a penetrating gas-loaded missile to flush out concealed threats. So this kill streak will blast through up to 3 floors. No shot this is going to work that way. Like, oh, I'm 4 floors down, I'm safe. Bullshit. Bullshit. This is never going to be reliably 3 floors and exactly 3 floors. Bullshit. That'll never work as intended, to be clear. Causing radial damage and leaving a column of gas that'll last 25 seconds. Okay. So this is cringe. It shouldn't be in the game. I hate it. But haven't seen it or heard anything about it.
Doesn't seem good, so.
That's fantastic.
I bought one. I used one on the lighthouse on Keep. Called it in. There's a guy inside of it, and all I get is a crack, and then I proceed to get for the next 25 seconds as gas damages people. Probably
the hit markers.
10 icons, 10 hit marker icons of me cracking plates. So didn't get a kill with it in a lighthouse. But Yeah, they're only 3,000 by the way, so they must know they're not very good. Because if this was insane, this thing would be like 6K probably. I mean, it's less than a mortar precision UAV, unless it was a fire sale when I bought it, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're 3K. I just don't get why they added something new and then it only comes to Fortune's Keep though.
Yeah, that is weird.
I don't know if they kind of wanted to like almost do some sort of testing, see what the player base was thinking about it before they added, or if it's just only staying on Keep.
Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that Fortune's Keep needed more kill streaks though, so that's a W. And that's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, we'll know more. If people like it, they probably will add it to other maps though. But yeah, it is kind of weird to test it on your ranked play map, but okay. Adjusted features, all maps and modes. Pre-match lobby loadouts. Players can now instantly swap loadouts in the pre-match lobby rather than having to respawn with a new selection. Oh, that's cool. So instead of having to like die if your favorite loadout's the wrong one or whatever, you can just switch it and you'll automatically swap. It's kind of cute. Looting improvements, quality of life. Okay. Are we going to auto pick up tacticals and lethals? Let's see. Significant improvements have been made to the top and bottom shelf auto looting system. That's actually pretty good because it was very annoying running through a gas station because you would not just like auto pick up anything, like even plates, which normally works correctly.
Gas stations, yeah.
Yeah. So if true, that's good. You can just run through and collect stuff. Players can now expect a more consistent and predictable auto pickup range for loot that is above and below the player's current height / level. Elevation's the word they should have used there. Okay. I never experienced a problem with that, but cool. There we go.
There are some items like when they were real low, you'd have to like crouch or lay prone to grab them. I think that's what they're talking about. Or if it was too high, you just like couldn't pick it up.
Stuck in the floor, maybe. Maybe that'll just auto swoop now. Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's good. Backpack auto refill. Field upgrades, kill streaks, tactical and lethal equipment will now auto equip if identical items are found in the backpack. If not, the next closest non-identical item will auto-equip. That's big. This is something I have been asking for a long time. If I have a trophy system equipped, and then I have a muni in my backpack, before I would have to throw the trophy and then open my backpack like a butthole and then equip the muni to be able to use it. There was no reason that it shouldn't auto-equip if I have no field upgrade equipped. Now it will. That's really big. And the same will be the case for kill streaks and tacticals and lethals as well. And it prioritizes identical items. And then it'll go to non-identical items, which is nice as well.
This makes like picking up just extra lethals late game or something pretty handy now. Because if like I'm holding
frags like you're using.
Yeah, and then I pick up a couple Semtexes. When I throw those 2 frags and they're gone, it will auto-equip Semtexes. You don't have to do anything anymore. So that's nice.
I like this a lot. Yeah, I like this a lot. Now, unfortunately, you still probably don't pick up tacticals or lethals when you run over them on the ground, even if you have those equipped. I don't know why this still has not been addressed, and I don't know why no one talks about it, but it bothers me endlessly. Unless they changed it without saying anything. Did they, Tanner? Did you notice?
Wait, notice what? Say that again?
Auto pickup tacticals and lethals.
No, of course not. That will never work that way ever.
I don't know why no one talks about this.
Maybe people don't want it. I don't know. Because if like your teammate just runs over loot and they grab it when it's like, I don't know, you killed the guy, then you would get annoyed. So maybe they do it on purpose. I don't know.
That's insane if it's on purpose. But
yeah,
maybe.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. The more surprising thing is, again, just no one complains about it.
Yeah. There are a lot of things like that.
It's like
it makes me feel crazy because no one talks about it and nobody complains about it.
I know, it's like we're being gaslit by COD
Exactly.
players.
Yeah.
I know. Because we're at the point now where looting is in a very good spot, and I auto pick up everything I want, and I don't auto pick up anything I don't want, except for tacticals and lethals. It's so weird. It's Like, it's almost perfect,
Yeah.
but whatever, still not. So anyway, these are good changes regardless. Redeploy pack flare. A flare will now appear when players respawn via a redeploy pack. This is good. In fact, Jake died once because this didn't happen.
The incident.
The incident, yeah. Jake kills a guy. He goes to res Tanner because Tanner's not good on a rooftop. And then the guy had a redeploy pack, so he instantly just lands back on the same roof while Jake is rezzing, and then kills Jake with a full auto SVA because...
And he was...
Warzone.
And Jake clipped it, and we timed it. He was back on the roof shooting Jake within, I want to say, 12 seconds. He was back on the ground, or on that same roof, shooting him. Or maybe that's how long it took him to land and then also down Jake was 12 seconds. I don't know, but it, yeah.
It was probably the down because he was still rezzing when the guy started shooting him. Yeah. So anyways, if there were flares for when that occurs, Jake wouldn't have died there because he would have known like, oh, the guy's going to be flying back on me. So this is good. Not super relevant because these packs are pretty rare, but this should be in the game. So that's a good thing. Minimap vehicles. Increase the distance at which enemy vehicles will appear on the minimap by 10 meters. That's probably good. Again, not super relevant.
Yeah, I kind of always... They don't seem to show up as far away as I always thought they would. It is kind of weird. Like, it'll just randomly be on your mini-map. Like, oh, where'd this guy come from?
To be clear, 10 meters is like, I don't know, 500 milliseconds, maybe, for a vehicle driving at you.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, I feel like before, it's probably now about anywhere on your TAC map, if they're driving on your mini-map, you should see them. Whereas before, I feel like they could be on your mini-map, like right on the edge, and it wouldn't show at that point still. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'll take it. So anyway, moving on. All maps for Resurgence. Most wanted time. Reduced the most wanted contract time in Resurgence modes to 3 minutes instead of 4. So that makes those a lot better on Resurgence.
Oh, interesting. That is a nice change. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because you'll complete the
contract sooner, especially with the looting and stuff. Yeah.
Especially with how many chests and things you open quickly on Resurgence too. That sucker is going to get finished fast now.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah. Especially on like Vondel where you can loot pretty safely. Boy, you'll be able to do that really quick and safe. So I'll take it. Fortune's Keep Resurgence loot adjustments. Oh boy. Kill streak spawns have been reduced by approximately 30%. Didn't we already read this patch note? Did they do it again?
Well, they removed counter UAVs. Did they reduce other things? I don't remember.
I thought they did. So maybe they reduced it again. So that's good. If they did it by 60% total, I'll take, I know the math isn't exactly 60% stats nerds, but whatever. By about that much, 55% or whatever total, that's still not enough. So good start. A maximum of 1 kill streak will spawn in base and legendary caches. Okay. It's insane that wasn't always the case. That you could get multiple streaks from one container, but good. Supply boxes will now spawn more armor plates. Very needed on Fortune's Keep as well. So that's good. Urzikstan Plunder, don't care. Equipment and perks. Throwing knives. Damage reduced to 175 down from 200. So you might be confused because it was one shot downing people at full plates, which is 300 health. So you're confused because it says it used to only do 200, but you're not taking into account multipliers. So basically the throwing knife was a one-hit kill on the chest, neck, or head multiplier before, because it was 200 damage plus whatever the multiplier was, meaning one-hit kill to the chest, neck, or head. Now, it will not be a one-hit kill to the chest or neck, because the damage was reduced to 175. Weird way to like tell about this patch note, but here's what they say next. The throwing knife will still one-shot with headshots or if used on a downed player. I think this is good. I think they were too strong. And now you can still one-shot down people at full plates, but you have to hit them in the head. I'll take it. And you still one-shot downed people, which is important. So
yeah.
I think it's a good change, and throwing knives are still very good. So frag grenades. Mid damage reduced to 155 from 200. That's a lot less damage. And then outer damage, so at its longest damage range, it has 3, reduced to 110 down from 175. Wow. So those were nerfed a lot. Definitely still like not bad, but definitely not as good as they used to be. It'll still do the same damage if you put it at someone's feet, though.
Yeah, and that's 275. I just went back in the patch notes to try to find that.
I like that, by the way. If you just nestle a frag grenade inside someone, that's not easy to do. You should be rewarded for that. I think 275 damage in like the whatever 2.5 or 3 meter whatever blast radius that is. I think it should do a ton of damage. Yeah. And the fact that they didn't change that, I think, is good.
That's why they're still hitting. I didn't realize they didn't change close damage. I was still using these this morning. I mean, in the few games this morning, I got 4 downs with frags, maybe. So, I mean, they're still working. Yeah. I'm going to continue to run them. They sounded chalked, but yeah, I didn't realize the close damage is still the same.
Yeah.
So it goes 275, 155, then 100 based on the distance. I wish we knew distances, man. Yeah, 110, sorry. Yeah. It'd be really nice if we knew distances. I wish things like a frag grenade had detailed stats that showed us its damage ranges in game.
Yeah, that would be sick. I like this change, though. They did need a nerf, and I think they needed a nerf at their mid and far damage ranges. Is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So now it's like they're still going to be very good, but there's a bigger skill gap with them now, basically. Again, if I'm able to plant a frag grenade, just, really sneak it inside of its 3 meter damage range or whatever, yeah, it should do a ton of damage to you, because it's not easy to do that,
Another thing too, like a lot of times, an instance where I use a frag is we're pushing a roof. A guy peeks the roof. My teammates or something cracks the guy. I say he's cracked. I cook a frag. I throw it up there. You get it down. So even now, with this damage reduction, in most of those situations, if the guy is on the roof and I hit him with that frag, he's going to die from that still. In most situations. So
yeah.
I mean, it needed it, I think, because, well, I don't think. I know, because they were entirely too good. And I'm still so surprised at how few people were running them. I don't know if people just don't read patch notes or realize how good some of these things are, but like the amount of streamers I would go and watch using Semtex still on Urzikstan, I actually just couldn't believe it. So these were entirely too good, and they did need a little nerf, but I can't say, I'm not going to lie, I am a little sad by it because they were a ton of fun. But like I said, still got a bunch of downs this morning, so I'll continue to run them for now.
Yeah, still usable, but not overpowered, I would argue.
Yeah.
I think it's a good change.
I just wonder how it stacks up directly to Semtex's now. I guess Semtex still doesn't have that close range damage unless you stick them.
Yeah. Yeah, not even close, I don't think. So, anyway. Tactical stuns resolved an issue causing the movement reduction effect to be removed upon sprinting. So yeah, stuns are going to be better now. So it doesn't really matter because you need smokes, but there you go. EMD grenade. Tracked enemies. So this is the tactical where you throw it and it explodes, and then little like microchips. It's like the Bill Gates grenade. Little microchips get embedded in people's skins,
and you
if
can
they're in the
remove
blast
it, right?
radius. And then yeah, you get the prompt directly on your reticle, It literally, it tracks where your reticle is and it puts it directly on it.
Yeah.
It says hold reload or whatever to remove it, and then removing it takes 20 minutes. That thing. This is the EMD grenade. Tracked enemies will now appear as a constant ping on the minimap. That is pretty good. That makes these better. And then players can no longer die unexpectedly when an EMD is thrown at vehicles or doors. Okay, that's good too, I guess. Again, still not worth using, but they definitely got better. And then quick fix minor update to the description and sub-description text. So it works the same as it used to, I guess, and now that's more clear in game. I wonder what they changed in the description. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what it would. What
maybe
it would
it's
change. Yeah.
Maybe it says downed and thirsted. Because before it used to say like you would health regen starts immediately on a kill, but it was unclear on the text whether that meant a down or a full kill or both. Turns out the answer is both, and now it probably says that when you look at it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But the functionality didn't change a bit. So, ranked play. Here we go. All thermals are now restricted as previously intended. So yeah, people were using like some goofy thermal. Now they're not, probably because it's restricted. So that's good. Earning SR. Okay. So the big problem with earning SR that we talked about was when they removed the tap meta. It was too difficult for top 250 players and maybe iridescent players to climb because it was just too much of a penalty to deploy or die. And then we talked about a game where Scummin won ranked play resurgence with 20 kills, and then what did he like lost 12 SR or
he
something?
He still lost SR. Yep.
And he still lost SR, which is insane. So obviously something needed to change there, and that's what they've done. So here we go. Earning SR. Final placement SR has been adjusted to the below values. Top 12, 15. Top 8, 30. Top 5, 50. Top 3, 60. And then a victory is 100, which is unchanged. Oh, cool. But what were the values before that? They must have been lower, surely. Wrong. They were higher. So now you just earn less placement SR also. So if there was ever a reason for these good players to camp, it is now. They made earning SR literally just more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. I don't know why they did this. I have no idea. Mid-season, by the way.
Yeah, what is that tweet I saw earlier? It was from Gorgo Knight, he was number 2 or 3 in the world for a while. Just won a game versus a whole ass other top 250 team, and we had 38 kills as a squad. I had 19, and I still lost SR. The system is beyond flawed and needs to be addressed. And this was after they changed the placement points.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they did this. Obviously, it's not because of top 250 players. And to be fair, how the SR works right now really does not impact that many ranked players. It's really only relevant for like iridescent plus, like these penalties being too much. But still, something needs to be done. And this was not a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So. Like, if we want kills to be more important than placement SR, fine. But the way to do that is to not reduce placement SR if you're not going to also increase kill SR, which they did not do, at least yet. So we'll see how that goes, but whatever. Prox chat has also been disabled and ranked, which is probably a good thing. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of cute. Players can now see their player card, which includes emblems and their gamer tag, in the Exfil cinematic. Okay. Deployable buy station icons will now show above other icons on the TAC map for better visibility and legibility. Never run into that issue, but that's probably a good thing. And then some bug fixes.
Yeah, I never noticed that.
I'm going to do a skim. Fixed an issue preventing players from spawning after using the rejoin feature in resurgence modes. That's good. Fixed an issue causing a crash when attempting to use the rejoin feature. That's good. Fixed an issue allowing players to keep the backup pistol out of the water. That's also good, because that was very annoying when that would happen. And maybe that'll mean I'll reliably get my pistol in the water now.
I still see nothing on here about
enemies dropping plates.
Armor plates.
Yeah.
Yep, they sure didn't fix it. They tweeted about that 30 days ago about players are not dropping as many plates as intended upon death, and they have not fixed it and not given an update on that.
W.
That's got to be a very simple fix for them.
Yeah, it's weird that they haven't.
So,
it's super weird that they haven't.
It's like they've just actually forgotten about it. Like they tweeted it the day season 2 went live because it was a bug, and since then they've ignored it. But okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, anyways.
That's it. That's it for Season 2 Reloaded. So, as I said, again, at the beginning of this episode, we did get kind of a lot, but it was mostly, like, not really new stuff. A lot of quality of life changes. Audio to UI, some bug fixes and stuff. In terms of new, and mainly a bunch of weapon balance changes. So we don't know where the meta is going to land in terms of Warzone or multiplayer for that matter. But again, way more relevant for Warzone since all the... Yeah. One thing I will say is the SMG meta in Warzone absolutely has not changed. Nothing in these weapon balance changes indicates that at all.
Yeah.
So every SMG that's good right now is still good. Every SMG that's bad is still bad. So that kind of sucks, but fine. The SMG meta is very healthy already anyway, and there's already a lot of variety, so I can deal with that. But the long range meta is probably going to be shaken up. We might be looking at the Holger 556 AR. We might be looking at the Bruin. We will not be looking at the MCW. Don't be fooled. And then we might be looking at the new gun as well. Or even the Ram still, which I hope is not the case because I'm very bored of it. And that also might mean, more importantly, and more drastically, that we get back to a silencer meta in Warzone. That's going to change a lot of how your games are played. Because when the RAM, like before this update, when most people were using the RAM, the only way you can use that thing really is with a muzzle brake on, and meaning you can't be running a silencer. So a bunch of people were just on minimap, and if the RAM is not being utilized and it's one of these new guns, they're all gonna have maybe not the new gun, but besides that, every gun that might be meta that we talked about has less recoil by default than a RAM. So they're all gonna be liable to be used with silencers again. That's gonna change things a lot, if true. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. And then just what guns we use ourselves is gonna be different as well, and that'll be be interesting also. But again, the RAM might still end up being the thing to use because it was nerfed, but not that much. It was just a max damage range reduction of,
6 meters,
6.5 meters. So in terms of new content, we got that little boat on Fortune's Keep. That'll be cool. Excited to see that. We got the Vondel nuke contract. I'm excited to see some of that and how exactly those elements work and all that. And we got a new gun. So as far as mid-season updates, pretty solid. I'll take it. Excited to play. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Um, just kind of unfortunate. Like the only new content we got basically is on Fortune's Keep, and then you can only play it solos. So
True.
that's really unfortunate.
Very true.
I want to see the Bunker Buster more. I wish it was just on big map. I'm not sure if we'll ever see that. That's unfortunate. They add that in, and it's only on one map. The new gun looks pretty good. Yeah, so I'm excited to use that. But I mean, aside from that, it's basically just a quality of life update.
Right.
Nothing real big coming out of this season reloaded update. So
yeah,
kind of a letdown in that regard. But I
Keep.
mean, I don't care too much. I've been playing either way, so I'm good with it. But if you were looking for a season jam-packed with content or an update full of content, this is not the one, really.
Yeah.
But the game still got better with the small quality of life updates and everything.
Yeah, for sure. The game's definitely improved. And that's saying a lot because even before this update, the game was in a very good state. My biggest complaint was just being bored of the weapon meta. Like the RAM was meta for just so long, it felt like. So that's probably not going to be true anymore. So that's going to shake things up a lot. And then, what else was I going to say? And now my biggest complaint still remains no big map ranked. I want it. But by season 3, we should have it. Well, by season 3 reloaded, we should have it. But either way, season 3 is going to be, where like a lot of new content likely is going to be added. More than this.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Moving on from there, that's it for the patch notes. A couple other things here, mainly some tweets from various studios. First one here is from Raven. We're seeing a number of questions regarding Resurgence on the playlist calendar for Season 2 Reloaded. To recap the plan, all 4 squad sizes are to remain available for the next month. Each week, each squad size will be paired with a dedicated map. Throughout this process, we'll be collecting detailed data on the performance of our Resurgence offering, allowing us to consider how to better optimize our playlist to satisfy the widest range of players possible. Following a full rotation like the one that we've announced provides us with a clear fixed stream of data to analyze Resurgence optimally. As always, we remain committed to fostering a community-driven environment and appreciate ongoing feedback, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that makes me feel a little better about the wonky playlists for this month. They're explicitly stating, look, guys, the reason we're doing this is to gauge what maps you guys like, basically. So then next month we can tailor maps and modes a lot better because we will know what people like. So
you know what?
I
wonder if they're
better.
doing this because Rebirth is coming out and if they're considering almost vaulting one of the maps. Either like vaulting one of the maps or not putting it in the rotation nearly as often. So they're trying to figure out of like the 3 Resurgence maps we have right now.
Ooh, interesting.
Which one will basically never be in there, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Urzikstan rotation like has to be the most disliked one, I would imagine. Not even disliked, just like people care about it the least, I would think. I feel like when we get Rebirth, that's just gone.
I agree. I like
so
the
maybe
idea.
They're really trying to gather like some last minute data to see what they're gonna do for the launch of Rebirth.
That's a good point. Yeah, that might be true because we might have just too many maps. Yeah. I liked the idea of Urzikstan Resurgence because you got like basically 3 Resurgence maps out of doing no extra work. But I underestimated the quality of a dedicated Resurgence map. I think they're just a lot better or at least more interesting. And yeah, if I want to play
for Resurgence in mind, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If I want to play Resurgence, I don't want to play Urzikstan Resurgence.
Yeah.
And it's not even because like they picked bad spots, although that is true kind of. It's just because like I'm tired of this map. I'm playing Resurgence for a different experience.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If you usually play BR and you want to play Resurgence, you're not going to want to play the same map you always play on BR.
Exactly.
You're playing Resurgence with I want to play a Resurgence map in mind, you know? So yeah, they should just for sure vault that one. After that, I don't know what the most liked map would be, or the least liked. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Well, that's, I guess, what they're testing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex makes an interesting point in chat. I'm only playing Ashika because it's quads. It doesn't mean I like the map. So how is the data valuable?
Yeah.
That's a fair point, but also I think you are underestimating how many people don't have friends and are just solo queuing their favorite map regardless of the squad size. So they're like, I like Vondel, so I'm gonna like random fill Vondel for quads or trios or duos. I think a lot of people exist like that. So people like you definitely exist where they're not gonna get really good data, but I think in the aggregate, because of how many solo queuers there are, I think it's gonna mean something. So
yeah,
you know. But you're a nice, likable guy, Alex, and not every... In fact, most people who play COD are not, so they're playing by themselves because no one likes them.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is that tweet there. So, and I'm talking about most of you listening, by the way. You. Yeah. You. Yes, you. Yep. Pay attention to the road. Bucko.
Come on, man. Don't call him Bucko, dude.
Anyway. So we got another tweet from @COD Updates yesterday. We're investigating an issue that's causing the latency widget to unintendedly appear as not any, NA. This doesn't matter because the game reliably tells me I have 3 milliseconds of ping in a variety of lobbies, which is impossible. So don't care. It can say NA. It can say suck on my balls. It can not exist at all. And I would get
I
no
think
more
there
or
are
less
actually
information. So
there are server issues right now because my first match on when I was playing Fortune's Keep, all of a sudden it felt like I was getting a ton of packet loss. And I looked and the latency said NA and it was red and the server felt awful. Awful. There was no hit reg. It felt like I had 90% packet loss, even though it was just the latency was showing NA in red. And then later on when we were playing Urzikstan, it was showing NA all the time just in white, but my game felt fine. So I think this is directly related to more server issues they're having.
Interesting.
I also tuned into Metaphor's stream for literally 2 minutes, and he was talking about the server issues, and he had said, I've been live for 6 hours, and literally the last 2 games are the only playable servers I have. The last 5 hours, they've basically been really, really bad and laggy. So I think that's related to some sort of server issues they've been having, of course. Naturally.
Hopefully it is related because that means they're investigating server issues rather than just a UI bug.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably
definitely
right,
more
though.
than a UI bug. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which they were not clear about. So I'm glad you said that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So now moving on to news and upcoming changes. Not too much to talk about here, but we do have a couple of things. Take it away, Tanner Dropshot.
Yeah, so we got an update from Team Ricochet. They say, update, our team has seen and share your frustrations about a rise in cheating reports. We remain focused on this fight. With the launch of Season 2 Reloaded, we've deployed several aggressive upgrades, including fixes to combat flying vehicles, or fixes to combat flying vehicles with more on the way, okay? New mitigation, boom. Vehicles that shouldn't be airborne or too airborne may randomly explode. Why is it always like randomly? Why isn't it just if a boat is in the air for 10 seconds, it's exploding? Why is it may randomly explode?
I hate it. They need to explain why they do mitigations again. I don't know. I hate them.
Enhance protections and increase response times for kernel level driver. Okay, that may be something good. Speed optimizations for detections in ranked play. Okay. Third-party hardware device detection upgraded. That would be like Cronus's
stuff,
something
right?
like that, yeah. And then this was posted yesterday. Over 26,000 bans today.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot. I didn't get any report bans, though, when I logged on today, so that's interesting.
Huh.
Very interesting.
That is interesting, yeah.
You know what's weird is we would get people we got people kicked, 2 days ago, 3 days ago when we were playing. A couple guys that were obviously cheating, got them kicked from that match, but I never got a report. So I wonder if they were never actually banned or anything, if they were just kicked from that match basically and were able to continue playing the game. It makes you wonder how that works.
That is a good question. It really makes you wonder. I hate Led Zeppelin.
But anyways, yeah, so that's the update from Ricochet. So if the game feels a little bit better for the next day or two, you know, that could be why.
Yeah. Yeah, and 26,000 bans in a day, by the way, let's be clear. That is a lot for a day, and that sounds encouraging, but it's not like they're doing 26,000 bans per day. And in fact, it's possible they did 0 bans in a week, and then they finally had their list, and they're like, all right, let's do it today. So
yeah,
don't get too excited about that number, but that is something. I'll take it. So anyway.
And another thing here, we have a little leak. Rebirth Island is officially in the files. We're not going to show the image because we'll get a copyright strike. But there is a loading screen image. It looks like Rebirth Island. It does not have a crater anywhere that I can see.
That's good.
The only thing I'm noticing is, at least from this screenshot, it's probably just because it's a dumb image. It's not like a real image of the map.
We got some billows.
But there's a lot of smoke for some reason pouring out of places. There's a lot of smoke and a lot of fog, it looks like, and the dark areas look very dark. Kind of looks like maybe some storm clouds on the horizon there. So hopefully that's nothing. Hopefully it's just this image and we'll drop in. It'll be nice and sunny and bright. But from this, the map looks exactly like how we last played it.
Yes. I don't know if there were...
There's that ship docked off the coast on the south side? Southeast side, I think? South side? So that was kind of like one of the later changes we got to Rebirth. So it looks like we're just going to be... we're going to have that same version of the map.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. That ship. Yeah.
Yeah, and then based on what the leakers are saying, a lot of them are there's like nothing in the files that indicate, but most of them seem to be thinking this is actually coming sometime in season 3. So I
believe it.
Don't know, but also, are they going to drop Big Map Ranked and Rebirth the same season? Unless one season Reloaded.
Yeah.
There's no way we get both of these in the season 3 launch window, you know? That's too much content. They need to drip it a little bit more.
I agree. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we got Rebirth on launch of season 3 or in the launch window. So the first like 2 days, and then ranked Big Map season 3 Reloaded. If I had to put my money somewhere, it would be on that. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised if Rebirth didn't come at some time in season 3, actually, because if you guys think about it, like, we're on this game's life cycle. We've been here a while, almost halfway through. So if they're going to give us Rebirth this year, they got to do it soon. So like, yeah, I would expect it kind of in season 3. Yeah. In terms of the screenshot, by the way, it's a dog poop, low resolution image. So, kind of hard to tell. I don't remember if there was like smoke like this in the original. There might have been.
There definitely was coming out of those stacks, because I think if you landed on it, you would like burn and die.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's probably just the image.
Yeah, it's probably just the image, because it looks like it's sunny, at least. There are some clouds, but they're like off to the side. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not super worried about the visibility, though.
Yeah.
Although maybe I should be, because it's not great on Fortune's Keep.
It's terrible on Fortune's Keep. Yeah, but I think that's just kind of... That's how they've designed the map now with all the clutter and everything. If Rebirth is the way it used to be, there shouldn't be any issues with visibility whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. So.
But, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
And then last thing, a little leak. This goes out to all you marijuana addicts who belong in prison. There are a lot of weed smoking operators coming. So Activision loves marijuana. They want it legalized, I guess, which is cringe. It should be outlawed. You just spend life in prison. So we have a Cheech and Chong operators coming, and another Snoop Dogg operator coming in season 3, and Devin Booker, who I guess is an NBA player, I think.
Sounds like an athlete. sounds familiar.
He's
but I
some
don't know
guy,
who
but
it is.
anyways, yeah. So you weed smokers start, maybe go like 10 hours or something without getting absolutely high out of your mind, so you can afford one of these bundles because you're addicted to it. So I don't know.
This is so weird.
Start
It's
saving
like
your scraps.
Cheech and Chong and Snoop Dogg, like they're like famous for smoking weed, and then randomly also some NBA guy. Okay. That's like kind of weird. Like you couldn't have had like Willie Nelson or something. I don't know.
Devin Booker, American basketball guard. Is this the guy that plays Call of Duty? There are a couple athletes that play a lot of Warzone and talk about it. Yep, he does play Warzone. That's why.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When you Google like Kevin Booker Warzone, there are like a lot of clips of him talking about it, and I guess him playing.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So, all right, cool. Because we're getting
save your scraps,
DB.
addicts.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you haven't blown all of your money on dime bags,
just quit if you're not addicted.
You can spend some on some COD points. So
you're
anyway.
Addicted.
All right. That's it. We're done. Hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm super done. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back on Saturday for our first and foremost impressions. Should be a lot to say, and the meta should be a little more settled for Warzone, so we should have something to say on that as well, which will be very interesting. And until then, stay humble.
Stay humble.